Main event, main event, main event. That's what this review is all about from January the 16th, 2013. So the featured match in this episode is Randy Orton against Antonio Cesaro. You know, I'm starting to notice a pattern here of Antonio Cesaro being the featured match on main event as of late. I mean, I'll go through my notes. Since the beginning of this calendar year, January 2nd, Antonio Cesaro against Great Khali. January 9th, not on. January 16th, Randy Orton against Antonio Cesaro. I won't spoil the next one because that review will be up momentarily. But Antonio Cesaro versus Randy Orton, featured match on the main event. You know what? This was a pretty decent match. This was a good match between these two guys. I've noticed that Antonio Cesaro is just getting a lot of airtime, which is good in my opinion. And he's one of the best heels right now in the WWE today. Now, of course, this match doesn't show you how good of a heel he is. But, you know, if you go on the internet and look up Antonio Cesaro, there are other, proofs that how good Antonio is. This was a good back and forth match. Randy Orton was going to go for the RKO towards the end. When the Shield came out, down through the crowd, into the ring, match basically ends. The Miz comes in, tries to attempt to save Orton, but it's the numbers game. And Antonio Cesaro, meanwhile, rolled out of the ring, was never seen by the Shield. And when he sees what happened after the Shield left, he goes back in the ring, picks up Miz, hits him with the neutralizer, and he leaves him lying in the middle of the ring. So this match, from my notes, I just called it a no contest, plain and simple. That's how I saw it. So now we go to our other match, the tag team match, the primetime players against the Usos. So Michael Cole, he's sitting there by himself, and probably, you're thinking, okay, well, Michael Cole's probably going to do this match by himself, or Matt Stryker or Josh Matthews are going to come down. Well, here comes Brad Maddox through the crowd. This was great. Brad Maddox comes through the crowd before the match begins. And this is just hilarious. I mean, I don't like to ignore the match, if something like this is happening, but here I sort of had to, because there was so much good stuff, good gems in there. Because, Maddox is like, all right, we're going to take a break, and we'll be right back. Michael Cole's like, no, we're not going on a break. And what was funny was, Michael Cole was trying to teach Brad Maddox how to commentate, which was absolutely hilarious. So he's like, Brad, first off, what you got to do is you got to focus on the match. Do you have your cell phone out? That's inappropriate. You don't do that during a match. And it was just really funny. It was great stuff. And Maddox was like, WrestleMania 13, brought to you by Footlong Subs. WrestleMania 13. So Maddox was just the highlight of the show. He was the best part of the entire episode of the main event. But Usos did get the win with the big splash from the top rope. They got the 3 count and the victory. But like I said, this was just all about Brad Maddox and Michael Cole trying to teach him how to be a commentator, which is like Roger Clemens trying to teach kids how to play baseball fair and not cheap. But that's another story for another day. So really this episode was basically the Brad Maddox show, in my opinion, which is okay. And, Orton and Cesaro was a good match, and that's basically it for main event. So, that's my review of that episode of main event. It was a good episode, good featured match, and then Brad Maddox just stole this episode. It was just absolutely great.